Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another Ultimate Creative Chat. I am Danielle, and I have with me today Dr. Jonica Rowland. Everyone say hi to Dr. Jonica. We are so happy to have her with us once again. Dr.
Happy to
Jonica
be
has
here.
Yes, awesome. Well, Dr. Jonica has already been on our show, and she is a finance expert. I'm going to let Dr. Jonica tell you all about herself, but I did just want to stop and welcome her to the show. She has a lot of finance, personal finance expertise, especially. So today we are going to be talking about business with benefits. Thank you, Dr. Jonica, so much for being here.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, I am Dr. Jonica Rowland, aka JT Rowland, and the T is for Thomas in honor of my father, Dr. Jonica
Yes.
Thomas Rowland. I am a doctor of business administration. I am not your MD, but I am your doctor who wants to be in your personal and professional business because I focus on social impact.
Mm.
Without knowing where we're going, the impact we want to have on others' life, without thinking about legacy, many things we do will be in vain because we work hard to take on tasks, to accomplish many things, but then we do not focus on our health, and then our health eats up our wealth. And then we have to consider what type of legacy are we leaving? How are
Mm.
we going to retire well? If we're a business owner or we're working in a career that doesn't provide benefits, it's important for us to understand the need for benefits because when life happens, such as an illness or a crisis, many minorities, especially women, are out of business. And then with
Mm.
COVID, the tridemic, you realize that in some cases, crisis did not even see color. Okay, so that's why we're focusing on this social impact. And when we focus on social impact, when we focus on making sure we line up our affairs, we'll become more socially responsible. That way we can help others and we can help our children, nieces, nephews, friends thrive in the
Mm.
next generation, the next era, through the next crisis versus always being a striver. We're striving, but there comes a time where
Yes.
we need to learn how to thrive. And even during this tridemic pandemic, many businesses have risen out of the fire. You know what I'm saying? This is exciting
Yes.
because I just saw, I know I'm supposed to be talking about me, but I just saw this headline that Black people, it said Black, okay? Black people have really um, outpaced their counterparts when it came to buying the new homes during this past before the
Okay.
new crisis came in.
Yes.
That is
Okay.
so unique. In so many cases, we're thinking the level fields aren't really leveled between men and women,
Mm-hmm.
minorities and majority. But if we keep hope and we focus on that social impact, you're going to win. And so
Yes.
that's how I became Dr. Jonica Rowland. I've been in the insurance industry since 2005, and I said been in it because of the simple fact that I don't like to just be called an insurance agent or a salesperson. I turned into a consultant
Yes.
because even though you may give someone the facts, they need to think about how they are going to think about certain matters when it comes to business, finance, health. Think about it in a rational manner. What's
Mm.
rational to you may not be rational to me, but we create the right experience. It's going to be their experiences. It's going to be their ownership, and they will have reasons to give to their children and others about their decision making process. It won't be just because Dr. Jonica said, it'll be because I learned. And we just learned so much from our life experience. And if you can't tell, I'm very passionate about it.
Uh-huh.
My research out there is financial advisors, marketing strategies to minorities. I've been acknowledged in 4 books for holding friends and associates accountable to their dreams. I did a Ford in a book. And so to me, that kind of makes me the expert, but also it lets me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to help us all to become socially responsible and make a social impact.
Very good. Thank you so much for that information. You've already given us some things to think about. And when you talk about that social impact, that is so important for us to be concerned about, especially as it relates to our families. But the
Yes.
family is a miniature picture of our greater society. So if we can help our families to be taken care of and to be in a good place financially, then we can impact our communities and the people in our neighborhoods, and just those right around us. And then they can impact others, and it can spread. So
Right.
um,
It can
thank you
spread.
so
And
much.
I love songs. You're so welcome. But you remember back in school, well, I'm a little bit younger than you are, but back in school, you remember they said it only takes a spark to get a fire going.
Exactly.
So let's make some good sparks. Woo!
Exactly. That's exactly how it is. So let's talk about this from a small business standpoint. What can small business owners do in their businesses specifically to um, be profitable and actually have a good solid footing in their business so that it can actually be beneficial to their families?
Yeah, so let's start with small businesses, making that foundation. We want a business. We told I I wouldn't start a business if I was you. Like you go to college, you get a job, and you retire. But a lot of people are getting laid off. So in our household, we had like 9 to 10 job layoffs. Okay,
Mm,
and from there, I always had been working on a business. So when we had the layoffs, you can cut back as much as you want, but the bills still got to be paid. But I always had a business, and I mean a business, not a hustle. Okay.
right,
And then
right.
there are those who have habits and hustles that they can turn into lucrative businesses. And
Hmm.
so from there, I knew that I could only spend a certain amount of money. And I knew that anyway after the layoffs, and we had a household of 6.
Mm,
And so when we're business owners and we are trying to survive, okay, some 1 or 2 of my layoffs, I know I was discriminated against, but I don't blame anyone. So, and I say that, we can blame, but we don't want to hate and we don't want to be in unforgiveness. So the
mm,
number one foundation a business owner needs to create is to make sure they are mentally sound when starting a business, because a business is like a roller coaster. You have
oh
your
yeah.
peaks and you have your peaks and your valleys, okay? And
Yes.
so if you don't have the mental capacity to um, have a thriving business or strive to get to that business level, you may not want to quit your day job,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because it will bring stress into your marriage, stress with you and your children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yes, my children understood that, hey, I needed to work, but they also knew that if I had my business, I still need my time. Okay. So you have to, number one, determine why you're in business. Are you in business so you can be home with Johnny and Sue? Okay. All
Okay.
right. Are you in business to make money? Are you in business just to have tax write-offs? Okay, because eventually
Mm,
you're going to have to show a profit. All right. So let's say you have a job and you have a business and you have some benefits on the job, like disability insurance. Okay. You want to have some disability insurance outside the job so that in the event something happened, you have enough to cover both incomes, your income from your job and your side income. Okay.
Okay.
And then from there, when you leave the job, if you have your life insurance outside of work, you have your disability income insurance, you have your accident insurance, you have your critical illness, cancer expense insurances, you have your nest egg. Okay. You know, the nest egg, that's what we baby boomers called it, or the people
Yeah.
before us. Okay. The nest egg is enough of money so that you can retire when you want to. Okay. So you always have something to fall back on. And so with that, you want to have like a sure footing of some type of funding for your business. Now, if you had job layoffs similar to I have and my husband had, we have to decide how much retirement money do we need to dip into to survive before we get the next job or to get the business going. So you have to think about some type of funding for that business. And to get funding, you need to have some type of good credit. To get the right amount of life insurance and other benefits you need to still have some type of good credit. You even need to have some good credit so you can get the right homeowners insurance and car insurance. So we really have to take benefits seriously so that we can be taken seriously when we need some type of funding, and we want our business to understand. If you treat your business like a partner, you want them to understand that, hey, we're in this to win it. So you really have to go in with the right attitude about being a winner. And not only that, you need to be mentally stable. And then from there, you have your benefits. And from there, you have good credit. And then next, you can get the funding you needed.
Okay, awesome. Now, I know that, having a good full time 9 to 5, you will have benefits on your job. And you spoke to that a little bit earlier. How about as a business owner, how do you go about funding your benefits for, your vision, your health, all of that kind of thing on an entrepreneur salary, so to speak, if you even can take a salary?
Right. So on your entrepreneur salary, okay, what you want to do is get what you can afford. Okay. So let's say my husband likes steaks, and sometimes he may want the 12 ounce. And then I'm looking to make sure it's grass fed beef and good quality. Okay. So you sometimes a person my size may need a 6 ounce steak. Okay. So I have this 6 ounce steak. It's going to taste good. It's quality steak. Okay. And I need the 6 ounce steak so he can have the largest steak. And I'm thinking about the cost of things. I might even let him have a Coca-Cola. Okay. So I'm thinking about my waistline and the cost. Okay. Just because I got a little steak, a smaller steak, does not mean it's quality. And that's how it's going to be with benefits. With benefits, you need to get what you can afford. Because if you go ahead and you get that Hummer, then you can't pay for that Hummer. The Hummer is gone.
Right.
What you gonna do? Walk everywhere? Okay. So if you can't pay for your benefits and life happens, such as someone trip off the porch, that's an accident. Oh, I can't work a week or two, a month or two. Oh, I should have paid that insurance bill. Okay.
Right.
That's why you get a little of everything so that you can cushion those benefits. So let's say when it comes to disability insurance, I do have to get back to that because they're like hairstylists out of business and stuff because they couldn't handle the health crisis, and other people out of business. There have been doctors who checked out early. Passed away early because they weren't taking care of themselves, So don't get so caught up in the calls and having the bling bling and the flash. The flash, you only see one ring here, right? I got a ring on it. But, having the bling bling and the flash that you're not really paying for what you really need.
Yes.
Okay, so you may have to get a smaller office. Go work at a co-working space to meet your clients. So you won't have to meet them at Panera Breads. Okay. Co-working space may be less. And then work from home until you build it up. But you want to have that disability insurance while you building a business. Are you investing? You know how they say, get a little bit of insurance, invest the rest, or don't get any insurance. Let your investment in your house be be the windfall. Okay. In the event something happens, if you only have $1,000 invested, how the family's going to live off of that? If you only have $1,000 maybe equity in your home, how's the family going to live off of that? If you have a business that can't be sold, how's the family going to live off of that? So start with a little bit, just make sure it's quality and you understand the fine print of what it is.
Very good. So what I'm hearing you say is we need to have something, and doesn't have to be a whole lot, but what it does have to be is quality. I keep hearing that word.
Quality.
Very good.
You can get a whole life insurance policy knowing that it's not going to end. And then you can put some term insurance on there, like you put cheese and lettuce on. We won't say hamburger, like you want those grilled onions on your steak. Yes. And so you have that up there. And then when the children's gone, your whole life policy should have enough cash value, or your business have grown where you can just afford more insurance. But you do want it to be quality insurance, because when the health is bad, it's hard to get an affordable insurance plan. So start now.
Yes. Yeah, and this is very good for our younger women out there who are watching. You want to get that health insurance now while you don't have many ailments, while you don't have things like high blood pressure or diabetes or anything. We don't know what is going to happen in the future. So if you don't have any of those issues, this is a good time to go ahead and do that. And then if you do have them, you still need them. You still are going to need, that coverage. So from what I'm hearing, Dr. Jonica,
but you'll have it. So exactly. You have that disability, critical illness, cancer expense, anything regarding the health, you need to go ahead and get it now. And I've seen people 70 years old with no health challenges, but don't take the risk.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. It's better to have to pay more for it than to not have it at all. And then you need it, and those medical bills are no joke.
Oh, so, no joke. Yeah. And there are things, other plans out there that can help negotiate things when crises come up, help negotiate on issues so that you can reduce those bills. Always feel free to contact me. I'll help you there.
I was just going to say,
I did want to bring up one important other factor. Once your business is established, you get the disability overhead insurance. So that if something happens, you have your personal disability for yourself to pay your mortgage, and then you have your disability overhead insurance to pay on business matters. Unless you have 10 or 20 children who can help, like the farmers used to have.
Right, they sure did. Okay, well, Dr. Jonica, I'm going to pause right here so that we can have a commercial break from our sponsor. This UltimateCreativ Chat is sponsored by Dr. Sandra Ingram, Life Coach. Life is pretty good, but your best days are just ahead. Are you constantly arguing with your friends and family? Earning less money than you know you're worth? Don't let your joy be a hostage to disappointment. Talk to Dr. Sandra Ingram, a certified dream building coach who's helped women achieve success in relationships, health, and time and money freedom. It's a career she's enjoyed for over 30 years. Choose individual or group coaching to get on the road to success. Grow your communication skills, confidence, relationships, balance, time management, and professional success. Head to www.dringramlifecoach.com and let Dr. Sandra Ingram breathe life into your dreams. Follow Dr. Sandra Ingram on Facebook. Back to the show. All right. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us here in this Ultimate Creative Chat. Once again, we have Dr. Jonica Rowland, who is your personal finance and business finance doctor as well. She wants to be all in your business. She done already
Yeah,
told you. She told
all
you
in
twice
your
because she was
business.
already on another Ultimate Creative Chat. And now she's telling you again, she wants to be all up in your business. All right. So, Dr. Jonica, we just finished talking about business with benefits. We talked about having life insurance and really being covered, even if you have to pay more because you have some health issues, it's worth it, right? So,
Yes.
now we want to talk about funding. You know, the finances and the funding of a business is its lifeblood. Um, so how can people go about getting that funding? And we'll talk about it a little bit more in depth in another episode, but I want to touch on this because it's very important.
Okay. So let's think about funding. When you have a business, how are you going to fund it? Are you going to fund it through your retirement? I don't recommend using all of your retirement to start your business because when the business crashed, Jack and Jill went up the hill, and then they come tumbling
Mhm.
down. You want to make sure you have something to fall back on. And so
Yes.
you bootleg. If you're using your personal credit cards, of course, that's going to affect your personal credit. Okay, and you need your personal credit to have business funding. So if you're doing those things, you try to go ahead and pay those credit cards off immediately. Do not get stuck on minimum payments because you have the snowball effect of interest accumulation. All
Mhm.
right. Then you may have rich uncles. There are many people who came to America and they either borrowed money from family members or they were given money from family members to start that business. So don't have too
Mhm.
much pride. Go ahead and ask for help. Ask for help. Okay.
Okay.
And then there are the loans. So if you don't have a EIN number, you may not be able to get a business loan. So you want to make sure you're not just having a business under the table. Okay,
Mhm.
if it's your dream and it's worthwhile, let's go ahead and make sure it's legal. Okay,
Yes.
such as go ahead and get your business name. You can go sole
Yes.
proprietor for a while, but it's just more credible if you have a LLC, S corp, or something like that.
Mhm.
Inc. You may not want the ink right away, but either way, you just want to make sure you can be identified through the federal government, etc. That you are a viable legal business. You have your Dun and Bradstreet number,
Mhm.
because business credit is different from personal credit, but they will be
Yes.
looking at whether or not your business is going to bring some money in to pay the debt.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Even like now, if you're giving someone a personal loan, you just want to know their character. Are they going to pay it back? Okay. And if we give someone a personal loan, we might want to make sure we look at a scenario we might not get that money back. But the
Mhm.
business, they only business lenders are only going to take so much risk on you as a business owner. So
Mhm.
let's start at the SBA.gov, okay? Get your minority certifications, or if you're disabled, that's still a disabled minority, disability, underserved. There are different certifications out there that you can have so that you can um, draw in customers and maybe have a fair playing field. And then from there, you're bringing in some type of revenue. You're showing some type of growth so that you can have a business loan. So start at the SBA.gov.
Mm.
There are consultants out there, such as myself, who may be able to help you. But if you don't have the funds to pay for that consultant, or a mentor, go to the SBA.gov before you start paying um, a significant amount of money. And then once you pay that significant amount of money, that money is gone. And so that's going to affect your revenue. And so from there, I want you to think a little bit, consider ways to keep your personal credit good
Mm-hmm.
and make sure you don't go way over your head,
Yes.
okay, in the overhead expense,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because you may not be able to catch up. And
Mm-hmm.
if companies such as Toys R Us, um,
Yep.
financial firms, banks, the banks are normally bought out, but if other companies can go out of business, because
Mm-hmm.
they overspent and they didn't keep up with the times, such as Blockbuster, um, you would need to consider ways that you would not make the same mistakes. Okay.
We'll be right back. Do you own a growing business? Danielle Rosser's clients get the keys to success when it comes to meeting their bottom line. Reach your intended audience with the proper branding, messaging, and storytelling when you partner with Ultimate Creative. So, what can Ultimate Creative do for you? Click the link in the description for a consultation and let's get started. Well, I was just going to ask about something that you said, having an even playing field, having a level playing field. How important is funding in establishing a level playing field? Because we understand that, lots of Black businesses have opened, lots of woman owned businesses have opened even since the pandemic has come into existence and kind of disrupted our lives. But we also know that funding has always been an issue for our community. So how can we access that funding when we are a new business or maybe a business that's just been around for a couple of years?
Okay. So access and funding, number one, you're going to go back to making sure your personal credit is good, especially if you have not been established for a while. Number two, you have to know your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You need to know how much money you actually need. Okay. So that way you can ask for that and then some more. Okay.
Okay.
And if they say, we can't give you this, we give you that, this amount, and it may be a lower amount, but it was better than trying to start low. Okay.
Right.
And
Yes.
then you get something a little bit lower. So don't let fear come in. Just roll like the big dogs, okay? And go ahead
Yeah.
and ask for what you need, what you want. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then to have confidence, okay, you would get some education on certain matters to make sure that you are not taken advantage of, but don't fear failure. So to get that funding, number three, you would need to make sure your records are right. Yes, your financial records need to be correct. Okay. You need to know where to find those documents. Have some type of system such as QuickBooks, Zoho, and there are other systems out there for you to be able to know how to retrieve some records and to know your numbers. So I'm talking slow, but I want to make sure you know your numbers. Okay, how much debt do you have before taking on more debt or before, in some cases, volunteering? Okay, you need to know how much you need a day to operate or a month to operate. Um, and then from there, you're able to get the adequate funding that you need. Yes. And so, with that being said, if we're responsible, if we're socially responsible about our business, and I'm not saying everything is going to be 100% correct because I am a visionary, okay? But I needed to know when to will myself in, how to watch my time, and how much I could give, Okay, how much time I can give away, how much money I could give away, before it affect my so that my household and my business would not be affected. So it's very important. If you want to ask someone to give you a loan, help fund your business, not only a loan, there are grants out there too. Okay, so you may need to hire a grant writer or check with a consultant. But in reference to needing funding, you do have to show that you have some type of responsibility. Okay, good responsibility. Yes. And then keep your expenses as low as possible. All right. Just remember your reason for being in business. Is it to look rich? Is it to meet the needs of others? Or is it just a tax shelter? If it's just a tax shelter, you don't need a loan. Just know your reason for being in business. Now, in addition to finding money, um, some people might have had a cash value policy that's been around for a while and the children are older. You may supplement that cash value for your retirement or to operate your business. Okay. You need to know your risk level. Are you going to do what it takes to get the money paid back if it's not a grant? And I don't mean illegally do what it takes, but you need to legally know what you would do to help pay the money back. Don't just go off of how people say faith. I got some faith, okay? Because you know the difference between greed and faith, but the institutions and others don't want to hear. I'm paying you back by faith. So if you
Definitely
don't think you
not.
can pay back the loan, don't get it.
Yes.
And the
You
grant, if you're not going to do what you stated you were going to do to have that grant, don't get it.
there you go. Well, that is some priceless information right there that you all just received. I hope you are taking it in because this is very vital information to our businesses. We need to know what needs to be done and what needs to be set up, and this is why we have these types of experts to come on Ultimate Creative Chat so they can share things that we need to know. Sometimes you can't do better because you don't know any better. But my
Right.
goal is to really have people here like Dr. Jonica who can share some things with you based on their expertise and based on their knowledge base that can be beneficial to all of us. So, once again, thank you, Dr. Jonica, for coming here, for being with us, sharing that knowledge, dropping those nuggets, whatever we want to say. You did it all. So, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
I'm so honored to be here. So thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We love having you. We will have you again as many times as you're willing to come back.
Thank you.
Yes. Tell us again. I know we have it on the screen, but please, for someone who may just be listening, please tell everyone where they can find you and where your what your website is too.
Okay, well, I have two websites. So one is really on the finance side, and that's that's DrJonicARowland.com. Then
Okay.
I have a personal website which helps you to relate to me as wanting to be a philanthropist and involved in the community, and that's
Okay.
JonicaRowland.com. And you can
Awesome.
always contact me at Jonica. That's Jonica at JonicaRowland.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. My
Hmm.
business locations there are Dr. Jonica Rowland. Yes,
That's
if you're
right.
nice, I might let you on my personal side. And then I am on Twitter under
Yes.
Dr. Jonica Rowland as well.
All right. And then on Instagram and Facebook, she's got the underscore MBA behind her name because she did go and get that MBA and she has much knowledge to share with you. So we want to definitely make sure you take advantage of that. So
Thank
thank you
you.
once
People
again.
are wondering. They said, why you got the MBA up there? You got the terminal degree, and I just want people to know I'm not the MD. But I am the doctor who wants to be in your personal and professional business.
That's right. That
I
is
have four
right.
children. They allow me to be in their business. Let me be in yours. My husband let me be in his business.
There we go. There we go. Well, that sounds great. We will definitely have you back again, as I said. And thank you all so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Like the video if this has been helpful to you. And please share it with somebody who you think could use it. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Thank
Get in touch
you.
today to find out how you can become an Ultimate Creative Chat sponsor.